Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to The Last of Us Season 2 reviews. This is for Episode 4. I'm the Grenade Tosser, Trasno. I'm joined by...
I'm the take on me, Kirkland Patzer.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. We are here. I think next week we might actually hopefully have everybody. Dylan has been watching. Dylan's one episode one, fell asleep and, forgot the review was, and the other times it hasn't lined up. Taylor's on a date night. So hopefully there'll be an episode with all four of us. I think it's coming. We got... How many episodes left? I think it's 3 more because I think it's a shorter season. Yeah, it's weird that it's shorter season, but yeah, 3 more. So I'm sure, at least even for the finale, it might happen. But we're back to talk about Last of Us. Like I said, episode 4, season 2. As usual, we'll do the non-spoilers, and then we'll go into our spoiler territory where we'll take a break. And I'm going to go first because I was on last week. So I'll just transition to that, and then we'll talk about some stuff later that we have been doing at GeekVerse, stuff coming up. It's going to be, again, really busy. So some good content on the way. And was this good content? Absolutely, yes. This was a fantastic episode. I liked last week. I don't know. It's much like because I saw some people talk about being slow or whatnot. Like that never really. Slowness doesn't bother me as long as there's great character stuff and I'm enjoying what's happening. And I feel like it's like we've talked about before, like HBO. I guess I'd have to think about other ones, but I'm just conditioned to feel like it's Game of Thrones, where every time something mass would happen to that, you'd always get like a very slow down, right? And that was last week, and I think this week was perfect because it was a big pickup. I think you got lots of developments, lots of introductions, lots of not lots, but there's one new character in particular, which I feel like there's some heavy scenes there. I feel like the back half was having some good action and just some good kind of intense situations. And then near the end of this episode, there's 2 revelations that I'm happy have happened because we can talk about them. Plus, there's some stuff that last week I'm still iffy on because there was one thing that didn't happen, but it kind of happened this week. So I'm like, okay, a little out of order, but I can see how it goes. There's another thing I'm curious how they're going to do. And then there's one thing I'll talk about in spoilers that I'm really not worried, but hoping it's not true. They said something last week where it's like, oh, yeah, that didn't happen. It's like, well, that's something pretty big, but I trust them to figure it out. I don't know. But yeah, no, this week was great. Pacing was great. Both Bella and Isabel were fantastic. Like, I'm not saying this because Bella is also great, but Isabel just felt like, I'm not gonna say it was her episode, but felt like in a sense they gave her a lot to do. And I just thought, man, we've told this before, but just I feel like in 5 years you're just gonna see this lady everywhere. Like I feel like
Yeah.
people are going to cast her. She's just so good. She's so natural at all the emotions where it just feels like a character. And Bella is too, don't get me wrong. I'm just saying with Bella, we've already seen that multiple times. And I've already liked Isabel as Dina, but I thought this was probably her standout episode for multitude of reasons. I'm liking that they're kind of shedding some light on more of these situations where last week it was kind of like, hey, the wolves are just really fucking bad. And then this week it's like, well, there could be 2 sides to every story. Kind of like with Joel, Abby, and Ellie, right? Like it's like that's not like a one-sided situation. So no, I thought this was great. I thought like even though the big thing happened in episode 2, this might be my favorite episode of the season. If not, it's on par because episode 2 was big, but I also like the town attack stuff was cool, but like I don't know, like I wasn't like I was invested, but I don't go back that because it was just like a huge attack. It just felt, and maybe that's because it doesn't happen in the game. So for me, it just felt like action for the sake of action, where this action felt like it was all pertaining to what's going on with their main characters. Of course, Tommy is a main character, but I don't know. I just don't look at that and go like, man, that was fantastic. There were some fun moments, but it's not like a highlight for me. But yeah, so I think it was probably my favorite episode of the season so far. And I think both Bella and Isabel as this now team going to Seattle, getting missions, just continue to have great chemistry, continue to just have great scene after another. So yeah, very connected with what's going on right now, and was surprised where we got somewhere. Like I'm always curious what they kind of fast travel in the game. And then what they don't. Like it's kind of funny, the episode, like obviously I missed last week. The week before that was you and me, and we were talking about planning out like the Seattle trip, and we said like 16 days there. And last week it was like 5 minutes, it's there. And I was with Mike, I'm like, oh, we're really just kind of going there. And which I get. Like it's funny because that's why I don't know, because like I think they've confirmed that like at least the second game's for sure gonna be split into 2 seasons. So for me it's like, oh, we're probably going to have lots of traveling to Seattle. So when they jump ahead, it's like, oh, that's curious. So I'm always curious what they are planning to kind of fast forward and stuff they're stopping at. But either way, great episode for myself. What about you?
Yeah, no, I think this is a really fantastic episode. It was funny. I was telling you just off cast, like Shay is back in country now, so she is watching the show. She didn't have the Crave login where she was, so she was just catching up. And man, I appreciate those earlier episodes so much more. Specifically one, like I feel like I was kind of confused, honestly, the first time I watched episode one, just because I didn't rewatch that first season. I did like a really quick recap, but like definitely missed a few things. So just the emotion that the characters are already carrying entering the new season, like even before we have the 5 year jump, that just hit me so much differently. And then all of the stuff with Ellie and Joel, it hit me so much harder, like on a second viewing, just kind of knowing what I know now. The Abby stuff, like all the Fireflies stuff, like I just like that so much more on the second viewing. Just because I think I was really unexpected. That was a weird way to say that. I was really
I
surprised
was
by
really
the
unexpected what happened.
yeah, I was really surprised by the unexpected turn, specifically with the Abby character and all the Joel stuff. I just didn't think we were going to be getting that this early. So I was really positive overall on the show, more so than I already was, which was really high on the show. Just maybe some confusion in there. So just a more
What's the
positive
confusion?
mindset going into this episode. And I think this was a really, really fantastic episode. I agree with you. I definitely think it's Dina's episode. It's interesting because with Isabella and Bella, I feel like Isabella is like she's kind of has to be so much more, I don't want to say emotional, but just like using her emotions and like her just facial features, like she's just so much more, I don't know what the word I'm looking for, like colorful, I think, in comparison to someone like Ellie, because Ellie's
Ellie's
very
more
like
muted.
keeps it in, right? Like
Yes.
yeah, like it's not a
Joel,
performance
like, you know.
issue or anything. Like she's just not doing it. It's like that's actually what the character's supposed to be. So it's just an interesting contrast. And I just appreciate the moments that they have together, because I feel like that those are specific moments where Ellie really is able to kind of put her guard down, even though like she's still trying to, but Dina just has a way to kind of break through that. And yeah, just the characters together are really, really fun. Except in, I guess, minor spoilers, there's some decent, I was gonna say action for lack of a better term, but like just suspenseful moments, and
Yeah.
like I was like sweating in them. Like I think they did a spectacular job at just really hitting on that and just intensity and the suspense. And as someone that hasn't played the second game, I heard some murmurs in the Discord. This might be a pretty accurate portrayal or comparison to the video game sequence, but
Yeah.
this
When I
felt
saw
like
those flares, I was like, oh man, I remember this.
this felt like a video game though. Like even though
Yeah.
like I haven't played it, just watching it, like them going through certain areas, going from one location to the other, it just had that flavoring to it. Like when they enter a new area, and then as you said, like flares are going off, and you're like, oh, this is the playing area, and then it goes from like minor cutscene to like where you're actually controlling the characters. So I think all of that was really good. Um, yeah, and just the threats felt really real. We got a little bit more, just I don't know if I want to even say that, but just a little, I guess, more knowledge on the players at play here, especially for the whole season, which I'm a lot more intrigued about. So, yeah, I think from start to finish, this was just a really stellar episode, and I'm really, really hyped. This is one where when it ended, I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like that's it? That's all I get for this week? I gotta wait another week." So, yeah, no, I'm. It's crazy. We're already getting close to the end here. It
Yeah.
feels like we're
And then
just
what? The show's gonna come back in like 8 years or something like that. I hope it's
hopefully not.
closer this time because I don't know. Like obviously, there's certain actor schedules you might not have to look out for, but I don't know how it works because I feel like all these prestige shows, it's almost like 2 years is the minimum, right? It's very rare. Like it's nice that we're getting Daredevil supposedly next year, but just the way Hollywood works and actors doing so much, I would like it to be more closer, but
Yeah,
I can't know for sure. You know.
for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna take our first ad break, and then we'll be right back talking full spoilers. So we'll be right back. And we are back. Where did you want to start with this bad boy?
Um, I really like this episode for kind of what I was alluding to at the end there. How just learning more about the wolves and the scars, is that what they're called?
Yeah, the
The
scars. Yeah.
and because just quickly from last week, I was just so confused on what the fuck these people were, like the scars, because they look really freaky. They have these like just ritualistic, I don't know, things on their body with like, well, scars, the literal scars, and then just like the emblems on their back. And I just had no idea what they were, because for what's shown, they just seem like victims, like they just been completely wiped out by the wolves. And then we see a little bit more of both sides here, and it's just a really intriguing dynamic I think to have, especially following Ellie and Dina, like for the viewer's sake. Like this isn't the Wolves story or the Scars story. This is Ellie, story. So just entering this like war zone where these two factions are like already going at it without your interference at all, and we just have to, find a way through this jungle of warfare to get to our target, which is Abby and crew. And I was just really enticed, I think, by this dynamic where you have like I don't really know their main goals at all for either side.
Mm. Well, I think they're
The
just at war pretty much right now, right? Because they had that Jeffrey Wright who does play that character in the game. He voices him, and the
Oh, that's
model
cool.
looks, yeah, the model looks pretty similar. I think it just looks like Jeffrey Wright, if I recall. They had that conversation about, and like, there's other stuff they talked about, but they're like, oh, well, you betrayed us, and he's like, well, you betrayed us actually first, but then he goes, oh, never mind the chicken egg scenario of who betrayed who,
Yeah.
but that's where it sounds like there was a truce, and so it's like one did something, and who knows, right? Because it's probably similar to like a Abby, Joel, Ellie situation where it's like, okay, Joel does this bad thing to save Ellie because he doesn't think she should be killed. But at the same point, then he takes out all these from the wolves' point of view, innocent people, right? So then
Mm-hmm.
Abby comes into town, kills them all, and even though what was the Jackson, they didn't they didn't send a bunch of people out. They still thought it was a bad thing to do, right? So
Yeah.
I feel like I'm not I don't think they get to that point. But then also they in that conversation they had Jeff Wright talking about like, oh, and you shot this kid in the head with an arrow. So I did like that because last week, yeah, it just looked like they were like a religious group that just got completely torn apart by the wolves. But it's definitely, again, it's like the Abby thing where there's more to it. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't think there's a good guy, bad guy. And I think it's good as well for, obviously in the game, it's just kind of to have more fodder you got to look out for clickers, you got to look
Yeah.
out for stalkers and the wolves and then blah, blah. But in this situation, I feel like it makes it just as much harder for Ellie and Dean. Like, there's some stuff because, of course, you can maybe sneak because there's a war going on. But at the same time, there's just that much more threats. It's not just like, okay,
They're
we're
looking
taking
for
on the
someone
wolves.
now,
Yeah,
right?
they're
You
looking
can't
for
just be sneaking
someone.
through.
And plus, it's like if you bump into the scars, I don't think they're gonna be like, yeah, we'll get you to Abby. Like, like it's like another threat where it's like, because you look what they did to those people. They fucked them up
Yeah.
big time. They strung them from the roof and ripped out their intestines. So
Disemboweled.
one I like that they showed like, okay, not black and white situation, and two, just another threat for Ellie and Dina
Mm-hmm.
to work through. So
Yeah, for sure. I think also just coming from season one, I was maybe like just in terms to their motivation, I think I was just searching for something as clear as like, well, the Fireflies want to cure everyone.
yeah,
That like that's their goal here. But like, I don't like. I'm assuming they have some religious goals that they just want to, I don't know, burn down the whole world to meet their god or something like that. I have no
yeah,
idea. And then for the wolves, it just seems like they're just a military. That's just like we're
yeah.
just going to be controlling this. They're doing like convoys and stuff. I imagine that's just because they're in the middle of a war, so they just kind of have to do that. But it doesn't seem like, at least for what was shown here, this is probably going to be something, if at all, that they cover later on. But just yeah, what is their actual goal and like what makes them different from Fireflies? Because I think that was another thing I was a little bit confused on when you have the sequence where it's like the flashback with Jeffrey Wright's character when he betrays Fedra to go to this side. Like, are these
Mhm.
people? Were they just always wolves? Or are these like former Firefly people, or were the Fireflies just in that specific area from like where we were in season one? I
Yeah.
don't know if you even want to answer that 'cause it's probably
No.
going to be revealed. Yeah.
It might
Okay.
be revealed also like a little like fuzzy on that type of stuff because it is. I know there's a reason, but even if you look at that, like Joel killed those fireflies, and that was who Abby was with, but now she's with the wolves, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's like, and I'm not sure if it's just that, if it's just a contingent died out or something that broke off, and it's like, okay, here we're gonna do our own things, but in my mind, I think they are like a bit. There's some aspects where they're a bit more brutal, but I don't think it's like a huge like jump from Firefly. Like I think the scars obviously are quite different, right? Like they're hurting their
Mm-hmm.
own bodies. It's more religious factor, but I think the wolves are just like an evolution of Fireflies. It's not like a big like, well, Fireflies are one thing, but these guys are really bad. It's almost just like in a different skin of clothing. But X,
Yeah.
Y, and Z, I think we'll get there. Like especially that they got Jeffrey Wright back for the show. I don't know in this one because I think we have 3 episodes, and I think we have one episode confirmed to be like another Bob episode that's just like a full just about other
Deviation
characters.
from the
Yeah, and
show
I think that's gonna
or from the game.
where what's a Pedro will come back for an episode because I think there'll be flashbacks. So like we really got like maybe two. So I could see something with Jeffrey Wright being I could see doing a full, whether it's an Abby episode or episodes, but even if it was just a Jeffrey Wright, I actually, for a second, thought this was going to be that because it started with Jeffrey Wright. I'm like, oh, is this going to be just a Jeffrey Wright episode? And I'm glad it didn't. Don't get me wrong, I love Jeffrey Wright, so I'm down for that. But I think with the stuff they did with Ellie and Dean, I think we're good to establish because within the game, there's still more stuff to happen. But when they get to the theater, that's near around the time you flip over to Abby's perspective and start playing as her. So
Mm.
again, I'm not sure if they're gonna do that for because if we have 3 episodes left and one of those is like a one-off, I'm wondering if they're gonna do that as the finale of this. But at the same time, it's very tricky because I just don't know what point they leave off to like make people wanting more because it's not like season one where okay everyone's story ends but Joel did a really crazy thing and how's it gonna happen, right? I feel like it's gonna be interesting when you end of like these characters are still in a collision course. Like I still think there's a chance that Abby and Ellie, because they, it's minor spoilers, but they meet up multiple times in the game. There's multiple situations. I wonder even in this season if they're even gonna interact or if that's the finale of the season of them finally like Ellie finally getting there and they cut. Like, I'm wondering what they're gonna do to feel in a satisfying conclusion for people of like, oh, that was season two, not feel like it's like a part one movie situation, right? Where, Deathly Hallows or Hunger Games, where it's like, oh, this feels like half a movie, which
Yeah.
I like some of those part ones, but it's interesting. But anyways, long story short, I could see in the future getting a full just Jeffrey Wright episode because like he's an amazing actor. If he agreed to come back, it's like use them, like if
Yeah.
you want to tell the stories, because that was a great opening scene. You got fucking Josh Peck randomly,
Man,
and
there was so many like familiar faces. Like I definitely couldn't just name all those actors in there, but I'm like, man, I recognize that guy, Josh Peck.
oh yeah,
I recognize that guy. I've seen him in something. And then yeah, it just goes to Jeffrey Wright. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? We got Jeffrey Wright in here, the
Hey,
Watcher. Let's
the
go.
photos
Yeah.
could be took there of things. I love that you go to Watcher instead of Gordon first. That Speaking of Hunger Games, I guess he's in there too. But yeah, that was something where because I don't think that if I don't again I could be wrong. I don't think that scene is in the game. I think this to give him more backstory. That was great because I knew something was up, but when he just went back, imagine the fury you must be. You're just sitting there waiting, and your fucking sergeant just takes off the pins, chucks them in, and locks the door on you. Like, my God,
I feel
what a
like
way to
it's
go.
like low chance he kills everyone with that. Like I feel like somebody's gonna like hide behind a body.
He threw
or
two
something.
though, so that's kind
Okay.
of tough,
Yeah,
right?
it is a pretty small area. Yeah, you are right. That is
Yeah,
just a big explosion. So yeah,
because
okay.
I feel like that's a problem where you could survive the first explosion, but that's going to move stuff around, right? And then you got the other one, and even then, I feel like you're wounded enough to, because at the same time, because the
And he
driver
does
gets
lock the door too. So like, how the fuck are you gonna get out of there?
yeah, and the driver gets and like even in the because obviously it's a TV show, but even the explosions they didn't seem massive, so I was even wondering are they more like just like smoke grenade, like knockout smoke. Like I don't know what they have in that situation because even then, like the guard gets out and there's tons of smoke. That could be explosions, right? But same thing, he's locked, so it's like you'd have to get through that gate. So I feel like even if you don't die from an explosion, they might just leave you in there and you're just fucking you're dying, right? And I can't
Yeah.
remember the rules of this world. Is it that if you just die? If you just die, you don't become the cordyceps monster, right? You got to be infected by one. I'm
I
pretty
would
sure, right?
imagine yeah. I think you have to be bitten. Like you have to
Yeah,
be alive for
because
that.
that's how it
But
is in Walking Dead. That was like a big reveal that if you die, no matter what, you're infected. But I was
mm.
just thinking that would suck if you're the one survivor. They lock you in, and all these bodies are turned into these
Well, you have to
clickers.
be
And,
infected. So I feel like
yeah,
I don't
they're
know.
fine.
I feel like the cordyceps could just like take over the nervous system, even though it's shut down. Like it would have to be a pretty recent death. That's my
Yeah.
assumption. But I
So
don't know.
no, just die by starvation. There you go. But great scene, great
Not a
scene.
great
They
way to go.
kept that one guy alive, who then 11 years later is looking like he's been through some shit. He's at the first scene they kind of make him seem like he might have some you know human care and quality, but now it seems like he's just like a fucking
Which guy was he? Am I
so
blanking
remember
here?
the guy, so Jeffrey Wright, he asks Josh Peck, there's like the younger guy, he's like, oh,
I remember
why do
the
you call
guy
them
he
voters?
removes from the vehicle, but you
Yeah.
said we see him after the 11 years.
So when he was burning that one guy, there was
Mhm.
the one guard who's like, oh, I wish you would stop or whatnot.
Oh, he
Uh,
was the other guy.
yeah, when he yeah, because he had
Oh.
longer hair, or they just took his helmet off, and when he shoots him, he's like, "Good fucking savage."
I
That
see,
was
okay.
yeah, and that's where he's just like completely like military robot guy now. Where 11
Totally.
years have been a tough time on him now. Where the first he's kind of a bit
Okay.
more bushy eyed and seemed like want to do
Yeah.
good. So yeah,
That makes
I think
that
that'll
scene
play
better
in.
for me.
Yeah.
I think it was the hair that threw it off because in the flashback, it looked like he had blonde hair or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I really like that opening. It just I don't know. I feel like it just shows how unstable this world is overall.
Oh yeah.
You have this like organized military Fedra group, but they already having infighting and just breaking off. And then I'll just talk about like the torture sequence too, so just because we're talking about Jeffrey Wright's character. But I really really love that sequence too. I think it was interesting because in the flashback it shows Jeffrey Wright has like a sort of morality to him, right? Where like Josh Peck's character is just talking about how they just smash this poor, they're calling them voters, face in for just asking a very normal question, and then they're just laughing about it and just going off and just clearly not giving a shit that this is like a human person that went through this. And then Jeffrey Wright, says the one line, whatever it is, I'm gonna try to paraphrase it, but just shows that he has that side to him. And it seems like he picked out that one other guy because he saw that way too, right? Like he actually asked, like, well, why do we call them voters? It's not anything from like saving a child or anything, but at least he's putting somewhat of like, why are we labeling them this term? So where we are 11 years later, that he can just torture this hunk of meat right in front of him, and he doesn't give a shit because he just needs to get his answers. Clearly they've been through a lot, like he's talking about. They've had children that take arrows to the heads and just innocents that have died in this war that they're throwing. But to me, it just showed like he's been through a lot, and some change has happened in the character. He might still have that military just stratagem in the mindset and everything, but just something happened, and it's probably just the world overall, because this is a very dark world. People are pretty awful. Obviously, we saw the scars just disembowel someone. That whenever I see that happen, it's not often, but it just makes me think of Hannibal in whatever season when they go to Europe and he does it to, it's Jack, isn't it? Fucking. Or Jack sees the guy do it. I don't know. I can't remember. I'm fuzzy.
Yeah, I think Jack makes it. So I don't think it's. Maybe he tries. Maybe he tries it on Jack. But
just in my memory though, the bell tower and just guts spew into the ground. Like, ugh.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I've been wanting to rewatch that show. But yeah.
Too much going on. Too much content to watch.
Finish Death Stranding, Kirkland.
Yeah.
Talking about Mads Mikkelsen. That's gonna be my new
Why
thing.
you giving me shit?
Because it's great. It's great. You know.
Okay.
So. The torture scene was great. That just big shot of just guy fully naked, beaten to shit. Just like Jesus. Like I knew
I thought he was going south with that hot pan. Honestly, I thought he was
too.
gonna do something to the genital area.
Especially because they had that cock wide out. I'm like, oh man, what's gonna happen? But I did love when he gives this whole speech and he goes to warm it up again, and the guy has his hand waiting out there, and it is just like, okay, he just shoots him because like they're gonna get nowhere with this guy, sure. Because at the same time, like, again, what they're showing so far is, Jeffrey Wright killed those people with a grenade, probably willing to make sacrifices, but at the same time, I'm gonna hope that people that are still somewhat right-minded, they don't want to just torture people for hours, right? So there might be someone in that situation that knows full well the Scar's not gonna give them any information, but they could torture them and be like, oh well, I was just trying to get information. Jeffrey Wright knows this is just a waste of time. Do I want to sit here and smell burnt skin and do all this? It's like, no, I could move on, and that's how loyal they are, right? And he kind of makes those cracks at him about thinking like, oh, you really think she's gonna save you or all this stuff? But hey, they're fully bought in, and they again fully at war, because we saw that last episode. We saw this episode with the disembowels, and just there was arrows around too, so they're fighting and whatnot. And Jeffrey Wright gives the whole, we got hospitals and automatic guns. You guys got bolt action rifles and a few bow and arrows. What do you got? And he's like, oh well, the faith of her. And Jeffrey Wright can't get through this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So like I said, I liked everything they did here, and Jeffrey Wright is a great actor, and I'm glad they're giving him some new scenes. I can't remember fully this torture scenes there, but the other one, just because one. Well, I guess actors do plays all the time, but it must be fun to still do some new stuff instead of just come in and do the exact same stuff from the game that you voiced. But I guess even then it's different, right? And that's where it's like, love the video game, everything it does, but like, you can't video game Jeffrey Wright. Like seeing Jeffrey Wright there on stage.
What about Mads Mikkelsen? They did it for Death Stranding.
That's pretty close, and that's why I got to finish it, because in the third
those
act,
baby sequences when I'm looking at him like, Papa.
There's lots of great stuff there. So, but no, all good stuff with Jeffrey Wright and the crew here. So,
yeah. I don't know. I was gonna go to the action sequences, but
yeah,
we'll
sure.
just talk about the ladies. all in one, I guess.
Well, I
Ellie
was gonna
and
say, is there anything we didn't check it back in with the town? Oh, that's what I was gonna say because last week I wasn't on. What's the big change for the game players? And I understand because again, I'm more of a wait and see. So Tommy, we talked about this on the actual episode in the episode 2 when Joel got killed. Tommy's there for that, and that's the whole situation. With this whole chase of them going to Seattle, what happens first is like immediately there's no like Tommy waits for the town hall. Yeah, yeah. He like just gets on a horse and fucking goes to find these people. And
Tommy.
then yeah,
Okay.
Tommy. And then Ellie and Dina like that's how they get there is because they kind of track down, like follow in his footsteps and follow Tommy.
Mm,
So that's what's very interesting is one, they're not really doing that. Just Dina and Ellie are getting the situation at this end of this episode. We saw like, okay, they saw where a camp base might be. That's probably where Abby is. So there's that. But I do understand for characters that, or people, if they really, which I do really enjoy Tommy, I'm waiting to see because I don't know what's better, what's not. Because yeah, for me, it's wait and see because I don't think it's complete right off yet. I think you can get Tommy in the story, but at the same time, if it is just, oh, well, we replaced a lot of his arc with him fighting monsters in the town, that is a bit of disappointment for me because in the game, he's also supposed to have like massive survivor's guilt because he was there and they didn't kill him, right? And that's the other thing where I won't say it yet because I don't want to get too far, but yeah, so I'm curious for people. I understand that complaint if they're fans of Tommy, where I'm not gonna say he's been benched yet, but I don't know. I guess they could after the fact make him get involved in this adventure and say, "Oh, you know what? I regret not going, and I'm gonna happen now." But it almost feels like why would you not just do that in the original way? Like if Tommy does end up joining them on this adventure, why wouldn't you just do it in
hmm.
the original way where he goes first and then,
Yeah.
maybe they just want to stretch the episode out with this voting and everything, but I do understand that's where some people are worried and even in the theater they meet Tommy there and stuff. So I don't know if that's going to happen in a different roundabout way, but that is a big thing that's different is they're kind of following his footsteps to go help him out and join him where this they've completely gone on their own and Tommy's just back and that's what reminded me that we didn't check in with the town hall, which I think we'll probably check in there at least not counting that flashback episode at least one more time, but it is an odd situation so far with the change, but who
Yeah,
knows.
my guess would be because we have the town, like that's why Tommy is still there, just to have
Yeah.
like just a tie to that location. Because without Tommy, like we know the other characters, but do we really care? And honestly,
Yeah.
even with Dina and Ellie being in Seattle and those whole dynamics, like I'm just so much more intrigued with that and what was shown here with Jeffrey Wright's character, Abby. Like there is so much going
Hmm.
on outside of the town that I'm more interested in. But I don't know. It just seems with what they've been setting up here in the season, it really makes me feel like we're gonna be definitely not focusing on the town for the rest of the season, but at least checking in there. I imagine, especially just because they're hinting at so much like infected getting closer, and then like just burying deep, greedily as the dwarves would do. So
Yeah.
it just it feels like we haven't written that town off yet for what set up in the show. And honestly, if we never go back there, I would. I feel like I would give it a con, but like at the same time, like I'm not as interested in that. So it'll be a complicated thing to tackle if we get there.
Yeah. Um yeah, so there's nothing else, right? We talked about Jeffrey and the Scars Tommy thing. I think it's just Dean and the girls now. They didn't go anywhere else in this episode, right? Unless I'm forgetting, but I don't think
No,
so.
no, it's
Yeah.
just with the girls
So
there.
we can
Yeah.
go there, yeah. So what do you think?
No, I mean, yeah, I said no spoilers. Just those two together are fantastic. I love the sequence when they go to the music store. There's like minor glimpses of imagery that I remember from part two, even though I haven't played the game. And just Ellie with the guitar is someone that's just singed in my brain.
Yes.
I don't know if that was like a poster for the game, but that is just in my mind.
It was in a
So
lot of the E3 marketing and
yeah.
everything. Like it was a lot, and I'm pretty sure because there's even a sequence. I don't know if it's fully in the game that they tried to trick people where Ellie's playing the guitar and Joel's playing with them. Obviously, Joel's dead, so it's just them fucking with gamers, being like, "Don't worry." Even one of the trailers ended with like Ellie doing stuff in Seattle, and Joel pulls her back and it's like, "Oh, you're not gonna do that out me, kid." Like, don't. I'm not spoiling anything. There's no like ghost. If they add a ghost Joel, I'm not spoiling anything. That's not the thing that happens. But in the game trailers, they even like added him in Seattle to make it seem like, oh no, he's around. But no, he
Mhm.
was not. But the guitar was a big like selling point on posters,
Yeah.
everything.
What about this? Do they have this in the
Oh, you
poster?
reminded me. No, they don't have that one. But I was looking for a thumbnail tonight. I got to show you this one of episode 4 because there's some place that they just make like just bad like teaser trailers with AI and everything. But look at this one, the face showdown between Abby and Ellie.
That one would have got me. That one would have got me probably.
Yeah, especially like no, just because that was a big thing with, like, okay, again, I agree. I'm still in the camp that yes, I wish they. I'm not in a sense trying to body shame Caitlin Deaver. They did not tell her to bulk up or anything like that, so that's fine. I do wish they got something with Abby, but it's just so funny that they did an AI version of Caitlin Deaver and they're like, make her jacked and like just like, but her head looks completely not there. And I guess I should say for audio listeners, but it is, it's, there's a tank, of course. They're in the middle road of Seattle. There's a tank. Ellie's behind there with a gun, and then Abby's on the other side in a tank top, and she's just like, her arms are the biggest you've ever seen Caitlin Deaver. She's got an ostrich neck. Again, this is no body shaming. This is all AI shit going on here. But yeah, there's quite
Bella's
a good.
like completely not around the tank. She's like so out of the tank.
You would see her. You could, Abby could just shoot her arm to start. You know, like that. Actually, you could shoot her head.
Shoot her head. Yeah.
Her head is poking out.
She's so close.
And I'm not going to share them all, but there's so many that they just like. It's Dina and Ellie running away from like an AI clicker or something like that. There's tons of that. So it's but unfortunately, lots of them get clicks. Like I said, it's
100%.
it's like that Titanic meme. Just like a quick tangent. I don't think we ever talked about this on the air one time, Taylor, because we talked about this before, where people used to get I had a friend on Facebook always fooled by the fake movie poster, and Taylor shared us a conversation someone was having with somebody like their mom, and it was a screenshot. It's like, oh man, Titanic 2, and then the person's like, well, no, that's an AI thing, that's not happening, and the mom's like, well, I guess we'll see. And it's like, that's how people say. It's like, no, like people just buy into these thumbnails. Like same thing, there's so many episode 4 trailers with an AI image, and it's like, oh, but yeah, you're 3 weeks. You're 3 weeks away from Owen Taylor
I've
Pizza.
seen this clicker multiple times, so I'm just waiting for him to get in position.
But like that looks like snow, right? I don't think it's gonna snow anytime soon. So
yeah, it would have been like episode 2. Like that would have been the closest.
Yeah, we're gonna get. I'm hoping it's because last year during GV 10-year day, that's when I got cash on my pizza bet. Hopefully you can.
A lot of pizzas.
Hopefully you can do something with Taylor beforehand, and you guys can just equal it out. But
oh yeah, I'm gonna be aggressive.
Yeah.
Pretty,
so anyway.
He's he doesn't accept them unless he knows he's gonna win pretty.
That was a smart one to
handedly.
accept. Yeah.
That video though, talking about they get clicks. That one was like the most viewed. I swear it was on par with like the actual HBO account one. Funny how that works. But just the guitar singles when she's playing. Does she play "Take on Me" from the game? Oh, okay, wow. I thought it was a different. Just because through marketing, I guess they posted like the actress like doing that sequence like mocapped and everything, and I thought it was a different song. But
they probably didn't show them behind the scenes not to get copyright strike, but they do, which is funny. When I was doing yard work, I listened to that song, and I thought when I listened to the song, I'm like, man, I don't know if you remember, they used the acoustic version Deadpool 2 when he's saying goodbye to Vanessa, and that's like to me like a 10 out of 10 superior version. So it's funny that they played this here, but great scene. And again, Isabel Merced just like. She just has to act, and like Bella, great singing voice too. I don't know if they like adjusted anything, but it's a hard thing to just like, because like it's not like Ellie sings a lot, right? So I just feel like when they search for the actress of Ellie, the first season, they're not like make sure she can sing, because I feel like well, it's gonna be one scene, we can figure it out. And again, maybe it is just maybe it's like those posters, maybe it's AI Bella Ramsey voice, maybe not her, but it felt good, and even the imagery was very similar to the game with the setting and the sunlight hitting her, and great moment with
and
the
shot
guitar.
of just the guitar like when they leave. I'm like, I've seen that poster, I've seen that somewhere. But yeah, no, just like the little like intricacies of like her not hitting like the perfect notes, which would make sense because she's not like she's not a seasoned singer performing all the time, but it just felt really authentic. I liked Isabel finding her and just being so like, again, just so animated with her reactions, like just keep going, like she's just such a ball of light for someone that like Ellie that has been through so much to just have that paired up with her. Like Joel wasn't keep going, oh my god, you're awesome.
No,
maybe he was throughout the 5-year gap, but like from what I've seen in season 1, he's like, come on, you're cargo, you're not family, let's fucking go.
I was gonna say he was the start. I feel like near the end though, Ellie like she wasn't fucking balling there, but she got the light out of him right near the end, and I feel like you get that father-daughter. And that's the other thing and I don't think this is a spoiler, but the other thing I want to mention from last week, because her and Dina talked about this, they said that, or maybe it's Catherine O'Hara. Either way, I think it was. They talked about like, did you ever talk to Joel again? And she said no. I'm not trying to spoil something, but in the game they did talk before he was killed. So I don't know though, because in the show it's not like some character asks and she says, "Yeah, we didn't talk." They just show a flashback. So I am kind of worried. I just hope that's still in there because there is something to like kind of transition. So we're talking about the guitar scene, so it kind of makes sense that obviously in this episode, like they kiss and they have sex and they kind of like admit their feelings towards one another. What was different in the game is that had already happened before they left to Seattle. Like they were a fully, I'm not gonna say they were girlfriends, but they were get like I remember a couple episodes ago where they found that weed
Hmm.
room or whatever. There's a whole set piece where they've just like the cutscene starts like post sex and they're talking and they're in their underwear and it's a very cute like back and forth scene like similar to what we got tonight except they didn't do the underwear of course. They're like no, fully clothe them and everything. That's fine. I'm just saying. But like so that's where I'm
We got
unsure
the
about
other
the
nudity from that guy.
yeah. You saw enough nudity tonight, fans. But no, so that's where with the Joel thing, I'm not sure. And for me, like the scene is great and has a key like conversation. So I'm hoping it is just put somewhere else because that's what this where was because that for me changed the dynamic where Ellie and Dina, and that's why I did like the scene, but I still like the scene tonight. It was the idea of before Joel gets killed, Ellie is like the happiest she's ever been because she's with Dina and
Yeah.
Ellie, her and Joel kind of talk and kind of figure some stuff up. So it's kind of like, oh, Ellie's life is finally on the upswing, and then golf club. So they move this to later on. I still liked the reasoning that Dina gave of, hey, I thought you were gonna die, so it's just like because I thought, oh, this is an odd time to just make love for the first time.
I thought
This
that too.
person just got bit. You just announced you're pregnant. But to me, she made it make sense of, well, I did it because like half an hour ago I thought I could never do it now, right? So it's this thing of
Yep.
like just take advantage and they could die. So, but yeah, that is something in the game already established where they made this a will they won't they, but they really didn't go on it for too long, and now they're together. So I'm
Hmm.
happy about that. So and good scene.
Yeah, no, it was a good scene. It was funny. There's just uh, again, there's some great discussion in the GV Discord about this show, so go check that out. But yeah, just I remember you guys mentioning that how they left that out from I think it was last week you were talking about, maybe even
It
episode
was
two.
well because it's episode 2 because yeah it happens right before. But I thought even though it'd be like a weird situation for Ellie and Dina to be getting it on after Joel died, you
Yeah.
never know, right? The show could have positioned as like grief, and that's how they found out. Because I thought, oh, that's like the weed shops in Jackson, so it has to happen. And I really liked that scene, so I was disappointed it didn't. But like I said, like, and I don't know why they changed it. Like I really don't because it's the same result. She's like, we're
Yeah.
gonna get there. She's still pregnant, like she's in the game. They're together now, so I would love to, and I'm sure they will, just talk about like why certain changes happen here or there. Because I thought,
Hmm.
okay, they're not gonna do that because they want to drag out like they want to do like a whole season and a half of the will they won't they. But really, they could have just had them hook up last week and then on the road. So it's stuff that I don't know if it's just to be different.
Yeah.
Maybe just to sake of to be different. I don't know, but
Who knows? Who knows what was on their stratagem board?
yeah.
But I did like the sequence. I was a little bit just. Is this really the best time to be doing this? Just because like I don't know. It felt like the wolves were still kind of on their heels. I guess they got fucked up pretty well by the infected. Because in my mind, I'm like, man, there's so many threats around here. Like the fucking scars could come in here and start disemboweling people. But
Yeah.
I mean, when you're almost dead, you just go with the passion.
When you want it, you want it.
and
yeah.
and you want it, and they just go for it. So I liked it. I liked that it happened. I liked how, yeah, just the whole sequence. I like the follow up when they're just kind of chatting. And yeah,
I maybe would have
just-
waited a little longer because I'm taking Ellie's word on the clicker thing, but still,
she's
like,
probably
imagine,
checking a few times. When
I was
they
gonna
get there,
say,
like
imagine you're about I'm so close and I'm like terrible, terrible way to go out.
going in the cunnilingus position and then just starts
Yeah.
fucking turning. That'd be a bad place to get bitten.
I'd be like, I'll do it. You get me next time. Get me next time. Like my turn. So
yeah.
yeah.
But
no. Go ahead.
I did like just the intensity of we didn't talk about the chase, but like the bite when she saves her with that.
Great moment.
I thought like they could have handled it a little bit better, but it's definitely far from the classic like Prisoner of Azkaban where it's like, give me that guy, I'm gonna fucking kill him right now. You know how long I've waited in Azkaban. Like when Sirius Black is trying to kill Harry, essentially, it's just like, guys, let's just talk this out for a second.
Oh, you mean when she had the
Uh,
gun up?
I'm
yeah.
talking about just like the
Oh yeah.
like it never got to the point where I'm like Dina's actually gonna shoot her here, but it just seemed like they could have said a couple more things. But it is just an intense sequence, especially
Yeah.
from Dina's perspective. Like this is someone that you clearly care so much about. This whole mission is pretty much like she's not gonna chase after Abby if she loses Ellie here. Like, she's just gonna go back to Jackson, I would imagine, unless she's really on a suicide mission. It just
Yeah.
seems like it's already like an impossible task. But if you lose another member, like if Dina dies, Abby or not, fuck. If Dina dies, Ellie is still gonna go after Abby no matter what because she's just that is her suicide mission. But for Dina, I don't think it would be the same thing. So there is just so much emotion on like, oh my god, she's bit. I'm gonna have to kill her right here.
Yeah,
Like this
I
is
did
so
like the build up to it. There where you just see Dean in the background, like Ellie's just act like she's closing doors, she's moving chairs, like she's locking the whole place
Yeah.
up. But Dina's just standing there, like
Just in
fuck,
shock,
like yeah,
right?
what
Like
do I do
she's
here? You know, and good shot. Even though I thought it was a little long, I like the shot when she woke up and she had the light up, and then she showed the scar and the light went down. I thought they had the light on her for a little like too long because I'm like Isabel's a great actress. Like let me see her face reacting
Yeah.
this whole time. But one of my favorite, I can't remember if this is in the game or not, but one of my favorite lines is when Ellie woke up, the water was hitting her, and she wakes up, she starts hitting herself, but she's like, no, it's just water, it's just the rain. But like it was Bella's delivery of it. It was just like I was laughing, not hysterically, but it's just because it is like, yeah, this person wakes up and they're like moving weird.
Yeah.
Just thought it was great comedic timing. But and even then, it felt like. But I guess I don't know. I can't remember how long. I guess Dina's probably seen enough where she'd think that okay, to this point they probably should have turned. And like you said with Azkaban, like same thing. Like Ellie should be like, hey, like I got multiple bike
Yeah, I know that's
scars. You
what I
could,
mean. Like,
you
just show
know.
her her bites. Like,
Oh yeah.
you have 3 bites now.
Maybe
show
just
her one of
yeah.
them.
That's all. It's, I try. I will try my best when we make films not to do that. It's just like last week we talked about you when certain characters are like, "Oh, Joe's did all this stuff," but I'm just gonna talk about like Faith, and it's like, we'll talk about how you're locked up in a room for 3 months. Like that might convince the character more than like. I thought he was a good person. It's like, no, just say what happened. And the same thing, it's
Yeah.
like, which I get, right? It's high intense situation. She might think she's just lying. And I did like Bella's opening. And again, I can't remember if this specifically parts in the game. I remember more of the back half, like character stuff coming because that was more recent in my mind. But when she's like, hey, I would die for you, I would sacrifice myself, but this was not that. And then just explain. So it's like a fun backwards way of like, hey, if I were like, I would do it, but like, don't like in a nice way, don't flatter yourself. That's not what this was. It was like me, like, I'm saving you, but I knew what I could do. And great moment too when it's like, they're both on the ground and Ellie's watching these clickers trying to get through, but then Dina is kind of watching them both. Like she's watching the clickers, but she's also watching Ellie of like, fuck, at any moment is she gonna turn on me? Like, because again, I don't know what happens. And there's a bunch of new clickers now, right? So maybe one's juicier than the next, but I guess Ellie's gonna have to get some new ink or some new burn marks to hide that up when she goes back to Jackson, because which your whole fucking body soon is just gonna be like one big scar. Gotta stop
It's
getting
gonna be
bit.
joining the scars
Yeah.
by the end of it.
Yeah, but and that whole sequence was good with the train. Like I said, that's right when they threw out the
Yeah.
flares. I remember that being like just high intense and great scene of they're there, they're quiet, which I love too. There's some like with the wolves, there's some side character of like, I thought this place was like clicker free or something like that. I don't know. I get it because like you probably check all the time. If this world ever goes to shit and there's zombies or anything like that, I'm never just gonna assume, oh yeah, this dark train station. I thought it was zombie free. It's like, who, like, you're in a fucking world where people are back from the dead. Like anything could happen now, bro. And the fact that who knows what happened because there must have been some hole or somewhere. Because great scene where they're hearing them and then Dina's like counting, but then she gets to 5 and Isabel again. Great scene where her face just turns to fear because she knows at that point it's like, oh, there's too many to count. There's not just 5. There's this and great scene of them
They
all getting
burst
taken out.
through. Holy fuck!
Oh my god, they were going, and that train sequence was again ripped out video game, very fun to play through, but shot very well. Just like you have, classic game stuff. I feel like Ellie would have been maybe out of some rounds there. She felt like she was popping
Extendo
off.
mag, she for
Yeah,
sure had.
exactly. She got some cheat codes, but great moment of like they're popping from the roof, they're popping from the windows, from behind. It was very well done all around. So great action sequence. I think they needed that because I feel like I'm fine with that, but I think some people, if they didn't get like a big sequence here, would have been like, oh, another slow week. It's like it's a tough thing because like I think in the game it works. There's tons of action sequence, right? But there's so many times where it's just like gotta get from point A to point B, and you take out some clickers or wolves or whatever, and that gives you the action. But you can't just like every episode have like just mindless action for no reason. But then you also can't have them just like talking. So I think this was obviously it's something from the games, but I think even the stuff with the scars and that whole little, like you said, the stealth sequence and everything, I do think it's tough. I'm not trying to be the internet here. I understand people. Actually, let's take one more ad
You're
break
not
and
the
then
internet.
I'm not the internet. Let's take an ad break. I'll explain why I'm not the internet. We'll be right back. And we're back. So I'm not trying to be the internet or again body shame. I don't want to bring that up. It's just a situation of because Bella's talked about this before, where there's been complaints that she doesn't or they don't look like Ellie because Ellie in the second game's bit not like Abby, but is older and gets like a bit more physical and whatnot. She's like, I just can't do that, and maybe that's the way it is, right? I think in that way, then they have to adjust certain things. So at one point she goes up the stairs, there's that soldier looking for her, and I don't think this guy's like a big dude, but compared to Bella, he looks like a fucking massive dude. Like Bella's a
Yeah.
very tiny individual. So when the scene starts with her like double legging him to the ground, I'm like, in a scene where
He
he's
kinda
gonna
goes for a rear naked choke though, right? Like I
But
feel like
do you
a
think
little
he
person can really get
Real-
the like
I think
around
a
the
little
windpipe.
person with Olympic training, sure, but like all Ellie's been doing is the punching bag with Jesse, and they established last week that she's not 100%, right? She was,
Yeah.
and she's like, "Oh, my right side." So I just wish it's different if it's like it's a scuffle in a scene where this guy's gonna already die. Why isn't she just like knife him, slices Achilles tendons? Like it takes me out for a second when she double legs him and then gets him in a choke, and he's like, "Oh my god!" It's just like.
Yeah.
Bella is a very small individual, so just for me, and it'd be different if it's like, oh yeah, Ellie's fucking Bruce Wayne, where she trained with the League of Shadows for 5 years. Like, no, like she's like, so that's all I mean. Like, that's an easy adjustment. Just have her stab him in the leg, and then he goes down. Like, it's just stuff that I
Something she
feel
would
like,
do too, right? Like
Yeah.
we've seen her go crazy stabbing the clickers. Like she would
yeah.
easily do it there.
And I get it if he survives, because then you go, okay, gotta keep him alive. But he then a few seconds later just gets his neck slit. So just some stuff that it took me out for a moment of. Just again, Bella's very small, and this guy, Bella was like up to like his waist, and he was
Yeah.
getting fucking thrown around like, she was the great Gali to his Rey
She did the
Mysterio.
fucking backbreaker, the Undertaker.
Yeah, I was wondering
backbreaker.
what. Yeah, so but no, like didn't ruin the scene for me. Still
Yeah.
great scene. I got massive. I have to look up what the phobia is. I should look up right now. I always forget it. But fucking when they had to climb through the small cement stuff. Oh, I'd rather
Oh, the
just
just claustrophobic. Yeah.
no, it's not claustrophobic for me. It's the
Okay.
idea of I've said this before because I think claustrophobic is the being small to scared scared of small places. I'm not that. I'm scared of places where I couldn't be able to move.
I
Like
always thought it was one and the same. Like you're just stuck. Like you're just trapped. Like if you're in an elevator and
think
there's
it
100
is.
people in there, like that's
'Cause it's
just
like-
you can't move around.
but like I could be in like a fucking baseball field over there, and if there was like thousands of people and I couldn't move, then I'd start to freak out. Let me see if there's
Yeah, start biting people.
Yeah, yeah, double legged. I'm like,
Double
Ellie,
leg.
I saw this. I'm Kurt Angle.
Yeah, I mean, just starting off with the. Well, I'll start off with where you were going with your double leg takedown there. I love just the whole setting of them getting there. Like best case scenario, Abby is in this building. Like that's what they're thinking when they get in there.
Yes,
They go and they're like, well, somebody climbed in there. They cut themselves. Okay, let's see. They haven't repaired that. I don't know how long ago that was. And then they find Buddy with like just Boromired, like 16 plus arrows in him. Like he took a lot of arrows.
Yeah.
And then they're just coming in and like finding like just the scars, what they did to these people, and they're just picking up the pieces, and like they have no idea that this just got called in or anything. So it again, as someone that hasn't played the game, it felt like this was like the start of a level. Like you're investigating, you're like, what's that? And then they have to hide, and then they kick in the room. They're like, ban out, find these people. Like that's like the start of a level. I imagine. it would've been pretty similar.
100%. Very video gaming. Yeah.
You find it?
I did, yeah. I'll put it in the chat here. I don't know how
big a word.
to. Well, I can say the phobia part, but
Oh my god.
Kithrove.
Clitophobia.
But there's an R in there. Yeah, clitotho. I can't go down on you tonight. I'm clitophobiac. It's C for our listeners. It's CLEITHRO and then phobia. And even then,
yeah.
it says I'm not going to click on the whole article, but it says the distinguishing from claustrophobia. For example, someone with claustrophobia might be anxious of entering a small tent, while someone with clithorobophobia might feel fine. And that's where I am. So it is, and technically the definition is the phobia is rooted in the Greek word meaning shut or closed, describes a specific fear of being trapped or locked in. That's
Okay.
where for me. And I've always said this before. Hopefully, my worst enemy doesn't listen. My way to like buried alive would be the absolute worst for me because like if I
Mm.
can't move, oh man. And when I saw that crack there, didn't want that.
Just do
But
Kill Bill thing. You know, you can get yourself out of there.
yeah, just do that. Yeah.
But yeah, no, just starting with that sequence, I thought that was fantastic. And honestly, like I feel like that was enough intensity or like suspense for the episode, let alone like the train sequence. That's just like adding like the infected as a factor there. So I thought that was really, really well done. It just felt like, man, how the fuck are they gonna get out of this situation? Especially when Ellie kind of gets out of there, but then Dina is just like underneath the desk. Like there's so
Yeah.
many wolves in that sequence. M16s or shoot to kill, like that's their orders. They're not gonna hear them out or anything. So
Oh yeah, especially in
um,
this, and they're like, "Oh, we didn't do this," which you would assume they didn't do this, right? But they could just think they're with the scars or whatever. Like, I guess people do, but I just feel like you can't take chances in that situation. Like,
no,
you can't,
100%.
So
Yeah. So I thought that was all really good at just building up the intensity, and then yeah, when they get into that sequence. I thought she was gonna like knife him like right away, like kind of what we were talking about, just because
terrible hiding spot though too. like you can tell it's not
where
a
else are
video
you gonna
game
go
building.
though? Like your options are so limited in that one
I know,
room.
but I just feel like that's when my kids hide. Like she just hides against this wall that's like, and he doesn't see her, of course. Terrible room, terrible job of like
Yeah,
he just like goes in the room and just like, and it's fine because like a video, but he goes in the room and just like kind of goes diagonal one way, not even like to look like, come on, like look around
yeah.
a little bit.
He
But
deserved to get ambushed in that
he
sequence,
did,
but
yeah. He missed that
I
training
I don't
day.
know. I was a little bit okay just because she caught him by surprise, went in, and I think I would have wanted her to kind of fail like a little bit, like she's going
Mm,
for it, just because I saw her in this season, like episode 1, right when she's boxing or fighting that one dude, and like he's been told to hold his punches and like kind of go easy on her. So I would have liked it if like I don't know, she isn't a trained assassin at this point, so it kind of doesn't go well. Maybe she gets elbowed in the nose or something, and then she like really has to shoot him in that sequence. Luckily, Dina comes, of course,
yeah,
but I don't know. I'm just hyper detailing that one moment. But from that point, when we get into the train sequence, all of that was super super juicy. Yeah, when the zombies are flooding in or infected, I don't even know if we call them zombies in this world, but the
clickers.
clickers and such,
Mm.
they come in, fuck up all these wolves, and then oh, that's what it was when they go into the train. That's where I'm like, man, this is so like I know you have nowhere else to go, but like fuck when you're just in this train with a bunch of corpses all around you and the infector just
Yeah.
breaking through the windows, like you are so fucked in that situation. Hopefully there's a way out. It might just be like completely caved in on the one side, like just so boxed in. So
It's a very risky move. It's
I
like
was
I would
sweating in
stay to
that
the
sequence.
open. Like I know
Yeah.
you can't
Run
always
on
do
the
that, but
top of the train, I
yeah.
thought would be like a good, because that's what they ended up doing anyways. They went into the train and then out of the train. I mean, it led to just some great TV watching for sure. But yeah, that was intense. And man, I will say, as someone that hasn't played the game, like I honestly thought Dina was done in this sequence. Like when she
Oh
was getting
yeah.
stuck on the gate and like not able to go through, just because like Ellie gets through and then she's kind of like focusing on like the next step to get out, and Dina's like still struggling. I was like, man, like do not kill Dina right here. Are you kidding me? We just lost Joel. And then yeah, Ellie pulls a quick one, and must have fucking hurt too. Like I know she's not infected, but just someone like just
Oh yeah.
chomping on your arm like you're just a cheeseburger. Like ugh, that was pretty vicious. And I think Bella really sold the the pain and agony of what that would feel like. Just her reaction face really got me good. But yeah, no, like I think both of those, other than like again like the splitting hairs on the takedown, just
Yeah.
because Bella is a very
Oh yeah. And like I
small
said,
individual
that's
in comparison to the
yeah.
6'5" big fucking
That,
man that they
that's a
had
good
there.
word phrase to use, splitting hairs. I'm not at the end of the season gonna give it like, well, I would have given it a 10, but that devil like no, it was just something in the moment where it's like, how are they gonna do this? And she just fucking perk angled them. And I was
Yeah.
like, oh, okay.
And
Maybe she's got some perks. I don't know. Fuck.
yeah, puts the mouth guard in before when he comes into the room. Could you imagine?
Just doubling all the clickers down now, choking them out.
That being said, that would be like if you're this guy, you're looking for scars, maybe infected. You come around the corner, you see Kurt Angle wearing his leotard, throwing in the mouth guard. Like I would be even more scared.
Olympic medals, everything, just ready to go.
What was I gonna say? Oh, that's what I was gonna say. Is in that moment, I honestly thought, well, one thing, it was weird for her to be able to get this takedown on him, but I thought she was gonna go like really extreme, just because it's kind of been shown a couple times where like when Ellie gets angry, like she
Hmm.
fucking goes for it. Like episode 1 when she's like almost breaking that guy's arm and he's like tapping out and she's just not doing it. Like I feel like we're I'm probably gonna be wrong for people that have played the games and whatnot. This is someone that doesn't know, but I feel like we're gonna get to a point where like she is extremely extreme, like probably too far.
Well, I'm not trying to foreshadow anything, but at the same point, it's like we haven't talked about this. Will be the last point that we talked about this episode where, so Dina, did you know she's pregnant? Did you have an idea,
I
or
had
was that
no
a shock to
idea
you? Okay.
until it was revealed, so it was a good reveal for me.
Okay. So, but and we'll talk more about that. But you get to the point of this end of this episode. They literally look at this building. There's gunfire all around. They went through everything they went through. And Ellie's like, well, I don't know if you should go because things have changed. And Dina's like, yeah, well, I'm good to go. It's like I understand. Like already, you see the act of like aggression or revenge, vengeance, whatever you want to say, taking over. Because you feel like at that point it has changed. They just talked about this whole life they could have together. I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a dad, and
Yeah.
Dina's like, oh, all I ever wanted was to be with you. I'm happy we finally talked about this about you and being a kid, or you with a kid. And she even asked like, Ellie, is that something you'd want? She goes, oh, some with you. So it's like everything's kind of obviously not perfect in this world, but it's like everything's much happier than it could be. But then it's like, yeah, but let's go fucking kill these people. It's kind of like that should be the sign, like.
Yeah.
No, like that should be the realization where you go, you know what, we've gone so close, like that train right there, being pregnant, now admitting your love to one another, and then seeing what's out there. It's like that should be the moment where you go, okay, we should turn around. There should be better things, but they both don't. And it's like, well, like if we just talked about you. It's like usually there's a reckoning for characters that make these choices, right? It's
Yeah.
just like it's just bad shit is afoot where that's a clear sign of like turn back now, go. Because she's even telling Dina like, oh, I don't know if you should go, but it's like yeah, but Dina's. It's not like they haven't kissed or made love at this point. Like they're they seem like they're locked, ready to go, be in relationships. So she wants to be with you now. So it's like maybe you should both get out of here. But no, you haven't learned from the Joel situation, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
too much going on there. So, and I think to your point with that guy, I feel like if they had some time, she would have fucking had her way at that guy. They were in a rush. So I think anytime
Which guy?
Ellie is like the guard guy when you said, oh, she killed him quickly.
Oh, you said
Yeah.
have her way with it. I'm like, which guy are we
Yeah,
talking about? The tortured guy, the
yeah.
scar with the
Like
wiener?
that guy. I'm like,
Yeah.
if they knew they're in the
She would have
clear,
smashed his face in. I'm sure it would have
yeah,
been pretty
exactly.
brutal.
They'd be
Yeah.
using them for a dinner, but yeah, they go to obviously last episode she had thrown up, and I was wondering when we're going to get that reveal, but yes, that happens in the game. Same thing as Jesse. I'd asked Emily, and she said that because I swear last week they said something that made it sound like she was with Jesse again, but I was like, no, I think they just said that they slept together again. So I was like, oh, okay, because like I said in the game, Ellie and Dina were a couple at this point. She had still slept with Jesse, but it's like a very kind of like it's not a throuple, but even then, Ellie's, which I liked in the game and I like here, it's not like a oh my god, what are we gonna do? It's not this super dramatic situation, right? Because
Yeah.
like they're both it's kind of perfect because Jesse's a good guy. They're both friends with him. Jesse already knows that Dina is like at least attracted to Ellie, right? And in this world where Dina's like, oh, I always want to have kids with you, well, you'd still there's no other. I don't think they have any working hospitals where someone can just go in a room with a cup, right? So it's like if anyone's going to be the guy that would have one of them pregnant, it should be Jesse. So I like that they've carried that over the game. That's not this dramatic thing of like, oh my god. And then even the way Dino was reacting is like, okay, then clearly they maybe just slept together. It wasn't like I don't know, I'm going to tell Jesse. It's like, oh yeah,
Well,
he's a good guy, and like it was very nonchalant. Even then, like when they slept together, I was like, oh, I don't want drama of like I cheat. How'd you
how am
cheat
I gonna
on
tell
me?
Jesse? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I'm happy that's like, oh no, like we'll figure it out. And even Ellie's like, oh yeah, it's gonna be the three of us. It's like, okay, that's
Yeah.
very much like the games. Okay, cool. They're just gonna figure it out together because I don't want that. We got enough drama on the show. I don't need the like,
Mm-hmm.
who's baby, who's gonna raise. It's like no, like they're all friends. Figure it out. So I like that conversation reveal a lot. So
Yeah. I mean, just rewatching it, like it just in my mind, I feel like it. I was sold on it pretty easily, just because I just watched episode 1 this morning. So and like when they're talking about Dina and Jesse, it seems like they're really freshly broken up, like pretty much like within the last 2 weeks, like
mhm.
max, I would say. I can't remember if they say a specific date, but that's just the vibe of it. So
Yeah.
it I totally believe that like she would have been pregnant from that instance because like she would have just been late on that term of
Well,
her
no,
period.
they got together again because remember they did a 3 month jump between Joel and that.
Oh, I
So I
forgot
think they
about
just
that
had some
jump.
cash.
Actually,
So
I missed that detail.
that's why I had to ask Emily, because if they
Okay,
didn't do the jump, I was like,
you're
okay,
right.
that
Yep.
makes sense. Because I'm pretty sure, I could be wrong. People correct me. I'm pretty sure in the game that's how it happens, where they were together, they break up because they kind of figure out, like, like Jesse. Even the show is like he reads the writing on the wall, like, okay, she's clearer than Ellie. Their situation's not like a big deal, right? And that's where, okay, it's the unfortunate thing of, I realize she likes this chick, go do whatever, and then it's like, oh fuck, I'm pregnant. And like I said, it's not dramatic, just like, oh, the timing of it, right? Where this
Hmm.
definitely was, they just, whatever, had something casual going on and whatever. There's not many, especially after the last attack of Jackson, you're losing candidates as time goes on. There's not many people, that's, I feel like if you got sexual chemistry with somebody. And they even mentioned in the show they've kind of been on and off again multiple times. So yeah, the 3 month jump, just, I guess they had a one nighter, and they to either didn't use protection, or Jesse didn't have the pole game on point. So
Yeah, I don't think that's your concern in this world. Honestly, I
I
feel like you
you don't
kind of
think
want to
so?
repopulate. I feel like you kind of want to. I guess they do talk
Yes
about
and
the
no.
population of the town being maxed out, but after that battle, they probably took some major
Everybody,
losses.
yeah.
Yeah.
It wasn't, they weren't
Let
even
us fuck the
it
ring
wasn't
and
even a one
Morpheus.
nighter. It's like, yeah, they all got a sign, like, go find somebody. But it's like the Quiet Place thing, right? Like, obviously they have Jackson, but it's like, you do want to repopulate, but at the same time, it's like being pregnant in this world has to be the worst thing, right? Because like, think
Absolutely.
about think about like the next town attack, and you're pregnant and you're having to move while you have like a possibly anywhere from 5 to 10 thing. You got like, so that's where it's like you do, but like it's also the worst. It's the best case and worst case to
Yeah.
be. So, but and
And
yeah,
just raising a child in that.
oh yeah,
Pretty depressing.
terrible. But yeah, she's pregnant, and
Yeah.
have to see how that goes on and whatnot. So
Yeah, no, I thought it was really interesting factor. I love the scene when she tells Ellie, I just feel like it's such a cliche of like, oh my god, how are we gonna tell him or something
yeah.
like that? But like they didn't do that at all. And as you've kind of already laid out, it fits for what's going on in this world and what we've been shown with these characters, including Jesse.
Mhm.
I don't know. I just liked Bella. Like I just feel like she sold they sold that sequence really well of just like I'm gonna be a parent. You're gonna be parents. Like, oh, and Jesse too. Like the three of us, we're gonna be
Yeah.
parents. And yeah,
Yeah.
it's just it just seemed very natural. And I'm very intrigued on how this is gonna be just
And this
a
world just,
factor going forward for the
yeah.
rest of the season and
And you
show.
kind of just have to accept it, because other than like some very unsafe ways, like abortion is not on the table in this world, I imagine. Like,
No,
obviously, if you find that pharmacy and someone happens to have like a morning after pill, great. But it's like, I'm assuming those aren't like, maybe there's someone in training for that. Like, oh, I'll give you these shoes if you want some of these pills. Like, I'm sure there is, but you got to remember there's like no pharmaceutical company. So I feel
expired.
like
I would
they're
imagine a lot of
expired,
that.
and they're, probably few and far in between. So, but,
Yeah,
yeah.
100%. Except
Yeah.
for maybe Abby's dad was a big abortion doctor, and then we can't use that guy anymore.
I'm specific. I specialize in life-saving cures and abortions. I know that seems weird because one's saving life, one's taking away, but trust me, I'm a doctor. Like, all right.
Have 100% success rate.
Yeah, there's some poor person that was, next day after Ellie getting an abortion, Joel fucking just killing them. That child's just pissed off the whole time. Like, I was supposed to be aborted, and
I have to live in this fucking world. Are you kidding me?
yeah, I don't want to be here. I gotta go to heaven. All right, let's move on. I'm pro-choice, by the way. So, anyways, we'll be back next week. I'm not sure what's gonna happen, because I feel like next week could be a prime spot for that one-off. Like if we're getting a flashback episode, I just don't feel like it'd be the penultimate episode. I feel like that'd be kind of weird. So I feel like next week could be a flashback episode, and that also makes sense if Joel's in that episode. We've had 2 weeks without Pedro, so it kind of makes you miss him. And like, oh, look, it's Pedro.
Same with Abby though, too. We haven't seen her in 2 episodes.
Yeah, that's tough. But like I said, that's a tough thing with them saying this season split up into at least 2, maybe 3 seasons, right? So
Mm.
I don't think you will never see Abby, but I could see a situation where you only see Abby for maybe like one scene for the rest of the season. Like she could just be gone,
I just picture the Infinity War scene. You took everything from me. I don't even know who you are. She just doesn't even remember Ellie when she
Yeah.
finally meets her.
It's been 3 months. I'm on to other things. I'm dealing with the scars now, but
She's got the fucking the Joker.
Are you
scars.
her?
Yeah.
I'm gonna fucking kill you. I don't know you.
Wanna know how I
All
got
right.
these scars?
We'll be back next week, and it won't be boring.
Bye.